This is Season 8, Episode 152 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.
Sometimes the important thing is not the number of miles you've driven, but what's going on inside your head while driving. The Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast will stimulate your mind and keep you company while on the road. Join us for education, motivation, and inspiration from wherever you may be in our nation. You'll hear roundtable discussions about important information that's impacting our industry. Plus, you'll learn more about new technology, equipment, driving opportunities, safety, and operations. Get driver success and fitness tips to keep you profitable, safe, healthy, as well as entertaining stories from the road. And don't you know, we've all got a few of those. We might be traveling in different directions, but we're all part of one driver community at the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. With your host, trucker Tim Cicciarelli.
Hey, good morning.
Well, hello, friends, once again, and welcome to Season 8, Episode 152. Tim Cicciarelli here. Hope you're enjoying your summer, and hopefully we'll keep you entertained and educated here on Episode 152. On the way, we are going to tip that big 10-gallon Stevens cap in appreciation for a job well done to one of our independent contracted drivers who doesn't have just 1 million and not just 2 million miles, but 2 million safe miles. And then we'll learn about another driver who started out as a diesel mechanic and then decided he wanted to be a driver, wanted to be behind the wheel. We have our driver spotlight on Kelsey Washington coming up in just a little while. You know, this is National Intern Week, and so at Stevens Transport, they have a very robust internship program, and we're going to be talking to one of the all-stars who's been serving as an intern for the last several weeks, Melanie Castillo, joining us shortly. But first, you know, we have a brand new VP of Ops, and we'd like to welcome him not just to the family at Stevens Transport, but to the podcast. Let's talk to Shane Weeks on our Stevens Roundtable. It's our Stevens Roundtable. This is the segment of the podcast that allows you to know what's going on at Stevens Transport. You're out there on the road. You want to know what's going on inside headquarters, right? Inside what's happening there at Stevens Transport at Dallas. And we have a new VP of Ops, and we'd like to welcome him to the Stevens family, Shane Weeks. Welcome to Stevens, and welcome to the podcast, Shane.
Hey, Tim, I appreciate it. Great to meet you as well.
So for those that might not have had the opportunity or privilege and pleasure to bump into you yet, tell us a little bit about your history and what brought you to Stevens.
Sure. Let's see, how far back do we want to dig? Born and raised in Texas, and then we'll skip to, kind of the journey that brought me into trucking. I spent 8 years with the Marines, and in 2008, jumped out of service, and a buddy of mine had followed him from the Marine Corps straight into trucking. You know, he called me up, asked what I knew about trucking. Said absolutely nothing. He said, great. You know, we'll put you on a night shift as a night supervisor, and you'll figure it out. So started my introduction there with the trucking operations, worked there for a couple years, and then had great plans to go do some other things. Went to college, wanted to get into finance, and, you know, as trucking does to you, it reels you back in, you know, and found my way back to another trucking company with that same friend, and that's where I spent the next 10 years. With COVID, as many people, it displaced us. It offered an opportunity to move from Tennessee back to Texas with the intent that at some point we would have to go back to Tennessee. But by the time that came, we were so ingrained back at home and established that we'd been back in Texas now for 4 years, and decided not to relocate back, started looking for Texas companies, and fortunately we have, you know, a phenomenal trucking company right here in our backyard, and found my way to Stevens.
It's in your blood, apparently, Shane, right?
It's there. Once you get a little bit of it, it infects you, and you can't get away from it. You know, I did grow up with, you know, a father that was an engineer in the railroad. My grandfather was an engineer for the railroad. So definitely grew up with a passion and appreciation for what these transportation industry professionals do. I just had to find my own path to it. So didn't go to the railroad, but we're still in transportation and logistics one way or the other. So family tradition, as
Family tradition.
Hank Williams Jr. would say.
Listen, and old Bo Cephas, of course.
That's right.
And so family tradition, and now you're working with a company that's been in business for 45 years, a family-owned company. Tell us about how that was an attractive lure to bring you inside the halls there in Dallas.
And that's where U.S. Express started. That was a family-owned business as well at that time. And so for me, seeing a company that was family-owned, Texas roots, and grown over 45 years to the status that we had here of, refrigerated focused industry was extremely attractive because you've got that investment at the very top that this company and the success of their team and their people directly impact their, history and the namesake that they put on the side of these trailers and the side of our trucks. So you knew coming in that it was going to be disciplined. It was going to be motivated for success, that there was going to be high standards. And through that interview process as well, that was reinforced. This is a team that wants to win. And for my role now being over, really the driver operations side of our team, that's where it starts. You have to invest and love what our truck drivers do for this organization to succeed. And from Angela, Clay, the folks that I've met from the family so far, that's the goal. It was go help us take care of our drivers.
Take care of the drivers. As they always say, and you'll learn this mantra, it'll be branded into you. We've got the customer in the back of the truck, but the customer in the front of the truck, our drivers. And that's how they're treated.
100%.
And that's what this podcast is intended to serve, that customer in the front of the truck. So, Shane, if you would, tell us a little bit about, with your new position, some plans you may have to help serve that customer in the front of the truck, our drivers.
Yeah, and Tim, the exciting thing for me coming in has been that the team that I'm joining is phenomenal. A ton of experience. Many of the individuals that I'm meeting have been in this industry for 20, 25, 30 years. Some of them have been with Stevens for 20 and 25 years. So they know the organization, they know the industry, they know what it takes to win. My part here early on really has been learning from the team, learning our processes, learning the people, learning how we succeed within this framework of a refrigerated trucking company. And future state will be more that I see of just nuanced adjustments, discipline to existing processes, management styles, a leadership culture, and clearing the path for our frontline driver managers so that they really can return time that may currently have some distractions attached to it, but get to where that they have more time to put back to the drivers. The one I believe would resonate for our drivers is being able to get a hold of somebody on the phone. I want to learn what are the things that are keeping our driver managers from being able to answer the phone or make those calls first outbound to our drivers. I've got to learn that first, but then we want to clear that plate for them so that time can be there to answer the phone. It may seem small to a lot of folks that are outside of the industry, but when one of our drivers needs to get a hold of somebody, they deserve to have that call answered. And so just the small items like that's really going to be where we start. And then from there, it's going to be the heart, the effort, the passion to help our drivers clear their plate so they can focus on running safe miles, make good paychecks. As Denim Dan, somebody that used to do a lot of videos would say is, get them paid and get them home, right? If we can do that safely, our truck drivers will be successful.
Wow. Love it, Shane. And I know that's music to the ears of our drivers as well, too. And to be thrown into an already very successful business, 45 years, no debt, more loads than we can handle, which is really a good problem to have, right? And that's the point of
Absolutely.
This podcast, is not only to find new drivers, but to keep the ones we have and keep them happy. And to hear you say that, okay, look, there's our first tiny bit of friction that we're going to try to fix and then move on is really wonderful. So excited to hear about all the great things you're going to be doing with Stevens Transport as our new VP of Ops. So Shane Weeks, we want to welcome you to the family, welcome you to Stevens, and look forward to shaking your hand here coming up in Driver Appreciation Week shortly.
Sounds good, Tim. I appreciate it. Thank you for the time.
It's the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio podcast. You might remember last week we had Ryan on with us. He's a member of the graduate rotational program there at Stevens Transport. And he was such a great guest, we thought we would stay in that lane right there, no pun intended. And we'd invite another intern on with us. And Coming up this week, it is National Intern Week. So we're welcoming Melanie Castillo with us today. Melanie, how are you?
Doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Melanie, how long have you been an intern at Stevens Transport?
A little over a month and a half.
Ooh, you are brand spanking new.
Yes.
And so we're going to get into the internship in just a moment. But if you wouldn't mind, please tell us how you found out about the internship and that process to become an intern at Stevens Transport.
Right. So for my degree plan at the University of Arkansas, getting an internship is one of the requirements. So I spent all school year kind of just searching and looking for internships all over. I looked a lot in like the Northwest Arkansas area, but also in the Dallas area. And was just applying and applying and applying. And then Molly, the recruiter, she called me and we just had a conversation. It just went from there.
So Molly called you, and then what happened? You're like, hey, that sounds interesting. What was it about Stevens that was attractive to you?
Well, for me, most of my supply chain classes so far have been more from the supplier side and like demand planning and that sort of thing, but not really focusing on the transportation. We just talk about the beginning and the end and not really the middle part. So I wanted it to have an internship that kind of just connected those dots for me.
Wonderful and so smart. And strategic, obviously, to give you the experience that you need as you venture into this industry. So what was the interview process like to become an intern? Because not everybody who wants to be gets to be. You have to be a top drawer candidate to be entered into the walls there at Stevens Transport because it's a big league operation. So tell us about that interview process.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, I had a phone call with Molly. We just kind of talked about a little bit more about me, a little introduction. And from there, she scheduled a interview with two of the driver managers, the operation leads. So I was back in Arkansas. So we just kind of had a Zoom interview. And I think about a week later, I heard back that I had gotten an internship offer. So super exciting.
How long is the internship?
A little over 2 months, like about 10 weeks.
So 10 weeks and your home is in Arkansas?
Mm-hmm.
So how does that work out? So that's a long commute. So you moved to Dallas for a few months, I suppose, for the internship through summer.
Luckily, my sister lives in Dallas, so that's kind of why I was looking at internships in the Dallas area because I knew I had that here. So I'm just staying with her this summer, which has been really fun.
So the internship is coming to an end here relatively soon. What are you going to take back with you now that you've connected the dots, as we mentioned earlier?
I think for me, the biggest lesson has just been communication. Communication is huge down there in operations between driver managers, drivers, trip planners. Everybody just has to coordinate and make sure we're all on the same page down there to make sure deliveries are made on time, pickups on time, and everything.
So the communication, how about the culture of Stevens Transport? Do you believe this is someplace you might want to dig in and make it your career?
I love all the people down there. I always say one of my favorite parts of the internship so far has definitely been the people and just who I work with.
And how about the workload? What about that? I mean, I know at Stevens Transport, a lot is expected, but a lot is given when you perform at the level that they expect.
Yeah, I think the workload has been fine. I'm honestly the type of person that just kind of zeroes in on what I have to do and make sure I get it done no matter what. So, just kind of focusing on the task at hand and not really letting myself get too overwhelmed by everything.
That's right. Just stay on top of it, keep communicating, keep your ears open, and keep learning. Well, Melanie Castillo, you're heading back to Arkansas to be a Razorback, I guess. What year are you going into?
Yes, I am going into my junior year.
I hope you have a great junior year. And then thank you for your time at Stevens Transport this summer. And spread the word of what a great internship it is when you head back home.
I will.
Thank you so much for being with us. And happy Intern Day.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Ever wondered what it's like to drive across the country and get paid to see America's breathtaking landscapes? Welcome to life as a team driver with Stevens Transport. The life of a trucker can sometimes feel solitary, but with team driving, you're never alone. Let's dive into how teaming up with another driver can transform your trucking career. So what exactly is team driving? Simply put, it's when two drivers share the responsibilities of operating the same truck. This allows for continuous travel and efficient delivery. Federal regulations require solo drivers to be off duty for at least 10 consecutive hours after 11 hours of driving. Team driving, however, maximizes productivity by alternating driving shifts, cutting down on overall trip times. By working in shifts, team drivers can cover over 5,500 miles a week. That's more than double what solo drivers can achieve, leading to more priority loads and higher earnings. Efficiency is key. With two drivers, tasks like loading and unloading become quicker and easier. Plus, you'll earn more per mile. One of the greatest perks? You get to choose your driving partner, whether it's a close friend or a new acquaintance. Having a partner on the road makes those long hauls more enjoyable. And what about rest? Team drivers sleep in comfy bunk beds while the truck is moving, allowing for nearly non-stop travel without sacrificing sleep. Safety is another major advantage. With two drivers, there's an added layer of oversight to ensure committed safety. So, if you're ready to take your trucking career to the next level, consider team driving with Stevens Transport. It's the perfect blend of companionship, efficiency, and increased earnings. Explore the benefits of team driving and start your adventure today with Stevens Transport. Apply now and join a team that drives you to success. Your journey starts here.
Now more than ever, truck drivers are true American heroes. The men and women who literally keep America moving by delivering goods across the country. Being a professional driver is a rewarding, financially lucrative, long-term career filled with exciting adventures. A career where you'll never have to worry about job security. If you have your CDL and keep it up, it will sustain you for the long haul. You can see the country, serve your country, and provide a good life for your family. Whether you'd rather haul on a dedicated route or lane, or prefer working with one specific customer, if you want to own your business, we have a program that sets you up for success with all the tools and support you need. We've got opportunities in our intermodal rail division and have programs to help military veterans transition into trucking careers. We have second generations of drivers whose parents have driven for Stevens, who then trained their children and are now truck drivers. Some are even small fleet owners. So, whatever your dream is, you can achieve it right here at Stevens. If you're looking for a company with a 40-plus year track record that's never had a layoff and just had the largest pay increase in company history for both new and experienced drivers, Stevens Transport has you covered. We offer the finest tools and technology and provide our drivers with the best state-of-the-art equipment on the market. Our infrastructure will support you both on and off the road. As a driver for Stevens, you become part of our family. Many companies throw the word family around. We're family-owned, family-run, and family-driven. Our 40-plus years of success is built on family. At Stevens, you're not just a number. Our drivers are part of our extended family, and we recognize and honor them every chance we get. If you want to be among the top income earners among professional drivers, if you want great benefits, if you want to have every type of driving opportunity at your fingertips, if you want to be part of a company that will stand behind you and ensure your success, come join the Stevens Transport family today and become an American hero. So, what are you waiting for? Take the first step toward your future career with the best trucking company in America. Become part of the Stevens Transport family today by calling our recruiting department at 1-800-333-8595 or apply online at stevenstransport.com.
Welcome back to the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. My name is Tim Cicciarelli, otherwise known as Trucker Tim. If you wouldn't mind, when you hit your next stop, please follow or subscribe to this podcast from whichever podcast platform you're enjoying it from. We are everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible. If it's a platform with a podcast on it, we are there. And by following the podcast, you'll have a brand new episode waiting for you each and every week as soon as it's released. And if you wouldn't mind, please leave us a review. Tell us what you like about the show and what you'd like changed. We are producing this podcast for you to keep you educated, informed, and hopefully a little entertained as well. We are going to pull some audio from a video that you can find on our Stevens Transport YouTube channel and our website about a diesel mechanic turned professional truck driver. This driver is one of our hardworking, determined, and growth-centered independent contractors, and we are certainly proud to have him as a part of our team. He's going to share with us what it's like to be your own boss and life on the open road. This is the story of driver Kelsey Washington.
My name is Kelsey Washington. I came to Stevens last year in June. I became a contractor at the end of September. When I was in training, my trainer, he talked me into it. He was like, at least give it a try. If it work, it work. If it don't, you can always go back company. I would just say the freedom. I take off when I'm ready. Like, I run hard, but then if I'm ready to finally come off the road, it allows me to come off the road. It's kind of, I don't know, it gives you a sense of, I guess, independence because you kind of do all your own paperwork, you kind of watch your own, you pretty much running your own business. But you always got help. Like, you got the guys in the business office, and then, you got driver managers that's always on call. It's just an easy process. You just can't give up in the beginning. You just got to figure out the process. I come from a diesel mechanic background, so I just wanted to learn the other side of trucking. I come from a long family of truck drivers, and they always wanted somebody that could fix the truck, but I wanted to drive. Don't give up, don't give up. Like, just stick it out. Like, you'll figure it out. I know I'm gonna go for the million before I call it quits, so I'm definitely going for the million.
Thank you for sharing your story, Kelsey Washington. Again, that is audio pulled from a video you can find on our Stevens Transport YouTube channel. We will have a link to that video in the episode notes. All right, before we pump the brakes on episode 152, time to show our appreciation by tipping that big 10-gallon Stevens cap to a gentleman who has 2 million safe miles. Congratulations to Jeremy J. Carter. Jeremy began his journey with Stevens Transport way back in 2007, and he chose Stevens Transport for the reliability that we, of course, are known for, especially through uncertain times. Jeremy says that even during events like COVID, people still need to eat. With refrigerated freight, we keep moving no matter what. So, Jeremy, you just hit 2 million miles, and that means more than just numbers and represents a true lifestyle and career. Jeremy's advice for you youngsters is don't burn out. Take time to enjoy the country and stay connected with your loved ones. And when he's not on the road, you'll find Jeremy playing disc golf, staying active, and recharging between miles. That is incredible advice from a man who's logged 2 million safe miles with Stevens Transport. Congratulations, Jeremy Carter. Okay, let's put the wraps on episode 152 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. If you found this podcast because you're searching for a brand new career, please make sure you visit the episode notes. We will have phone numbers and every link possible for you to learn more about Stevens Transport and even schedule a call with one of our recruiters. All the information is in the episode notes. And like we said earlier, please follow or subscribe to this podcast from whichever platform you're enjoying it from and share it with one of your fellow drivers. We sure would appreciate it. And finally, my name is Tim Cicciarelli, otherwise known as Trucker Tim. Thanks for joining me. And until next time, Be safe out there. And thanks for listening to the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.